What can you do now, personally, Martin, to resonate with people who feel that you're a bad guy? You raised the price of the AIDS drug, you know, 5,000%.
Sure.
They say that, you know, look, when critics pounced, you didn't shrink from the attention. You instead relished it and baited naysayers on Twitter. You know, a woman says that you assaulted her, you trolled her on Twitter. There's that.
Verbally assaulted her.
Yes, verbally assaulted her. So is there anything that you're thinking about that you can do right now in the court of public opinion?
Yep. Well, you know, so Turing is a company that I own the majority of, and we've fulfilled our promise, and we have the next version of Daraprim just about to start human testing. So I hope that drug will get FDA approval in the years to come. And there's other medicines Turing's making that are the first of their kind and will hopefully save the lives of many, many people around the world. Pharmaceuticals is an interesting business. It doesn't get a lot of love. People expect medicine for free. You can't get medicine for free. It's very hard to make medicine. It's going to be expensive from here to eternity, no matter what the government does, no matter what anybody likes to pick on the pharmaceutical industry. But we make medicines that save people's lives, and no matter who the face of the pharmaceutical industry, whether it's me, Mr. Fraser, or anybody else, we'll be here to stay, and we're going to make medicines to save people's lives, and we're very passionate about that.
So you think because of that, you will be able to gain trust of the American people once again?
I think that there's a large number of American people that already do trust me.
Okay.
I think that, you know, when all is said and done, I have dozens of scientific inventions that I've contributed to the medical corpus that will continue. I'm going to keep doing that. I have a number of neurological drug candidates that I've developed and I'll continue to develop. And when all is said and done, I think 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 years from now, I hope to have be able to point to a medicine cabinet of drugs that wouldn't be here without me.
Let me ask you, you mentioned Ken Frazier, because there's a lot of conversation about that this morning. The fact that the CEO of Merck stepped off of the President's Manufacturing Council. After that, the President tweeted out basically attacking Ken Frazier and saying, look, you know, I'm glad he stepped down because now he'll have more time to lower rip-off drug prices.
Right.
What did you think of the President's tweet?
I think it was a great tweet. I think that Mr. Frazier is politicizing the moment. I think it's self-indulgent. I think that, you know, if he's supposed to be advising the President on manufacturing, let him advise on manufacturing. He's not here to talk about anything political or anything about race relations or anything about what happened in Charlottesville. He's here to be President's economic advisor. And instead, he's taking the spotlight and saying, look at me, look at how righteous I am. And this tragedy affects all of us. The President condemned it. Everyone condemns it. I don't know anyone who supports it. And he's sort of saying, no, I'm going to make a statement. I am the righteous one. And I think that's sort of pathetic.
What is your next couple of months, the timeline look like, as you try to appeal these three charges, these charges, the securities fraud and conspiracy fraud, as well as the next era in your life? I want to ask you about launching the software startup. But first, give us your timeline in terms of how this takes place.
Sure. So probably at some point in the next 5 months, the judge will determine whether or not to proceed to sentencing, and should that occur, the judge will decide that closer to, you know, the end of those 5 months. In the meantime, there's going to be a lot of legal warfare to dismiss these, I think, erroneous and in some cases not even legal charges. So assuming that the judge does proceed to that, the United States sentencing guidelines, which are promulgated by the Department of Justice, suggest that the loss amount for a crime is what should suggest the sentence. In my case, there's a negative loss amount. My investors made 4 times their money, so it's very hard to interpret what a sentence should be. It's up to Her Honor, of course, but if you read the sentencing guidelines, the suggestion they make is 0 to 6 months. So I'm gratified that, again, the large charge where this ridiculous conspiracy the government contrived was proven false. That was what we were worried about. That could have resulted in a major sentence. So that's off the table, I think. So I'm looking forward to continuing to build my various businesses. Of course, Turing, hundreds of employees around the world, going to continue to be a successful and growing drug company. My new software company is about 20 people here in New York. Fantastic group that is developing business software, so very excited for the future.
That's Godel Systems.
It is Godel.
Tell us about it.
Yeah, so Godel is going to, I think, take on some of the big business software companies. We're still in stealth mode, as they like to say in Silicon Valley, but we think there's a large groups of software that are very overpriced and are not very good and haven't been updated in a long time, and we're going to make lower cost alternatives to those.
But you just said to me moments ago, look, drug prices are not going to go down significantly. They're still going to be high priced. That's the way it's going to be. Is that the answer? I mean, there's no relief for people who have to pay thousands and thousands of dollars a year, if not a month, for life-saving drugs.
I think it's a narrative that's not based in reality. 90% of healthcare costs are physicians and hospitals. So we pick on that 10%, and it's the 10% that does the most. It's the 10% that's the hardest to make. It's the 10% that creates a lot of jobs. And I think that, we get a bad rap. Now, biogenerics are coming, and those seem to be very promising in lowering costs. So I think this problem solves itself. Right now, as you see, I mean, you watch the markets every day. Stocks like Teva and Mylan are suffering greatly because the generic drug prices are collapsing. So, it's hard when you make decisions in D.C. Teva might go bankrupt at this rate. And the idea that, the world's largest generic company could go bankrupt, they're not making very much money. So I don't know exactly, where these criticisms come from. It's very easy to pick on drug prices, but it's not, I think, rooted in reality.
Yeah, but even like CEOs in the healthcare industry, they don't want to be anywhere near you.
Sure.
They feel like, look, drug prices are where they are, but you shouldn't be raising them 5,000%. And I don't even want to be anywhere near where Martin Shkreli is.
Well, I think it's very disingenuous when someone like Brent Saunders, who was at one point a very close friend of mine, raises the price of Botox. It's a $2 billion drug.
That's Allergan, right? Yeah,
and he raises it 9%. He says 9.9%, like that number is a magic, value. And all of a sudden, hundreds of millions of dollars of costs enter the healthcare system. When a drug that sells $5 million all of a sudden goes up in price, that's not a medicine that's going to affect the healthcare system. So I think it's obfuscation. I think it's disgusting. I think that, again, when Pfizer raises the price of Lyrica 9%, they're creating billion-dollar costs in the healthcare system. Humira, same thing. Those CEOs use me as cannon fodder to say, well, we're not doing the same thing. Well, yeah, but your denominator is a very large number, so your price increase doesn't really reflect reality.
And of course, we just saw that similar story with EpiPen and Mylan Labs. Martin, thank you for talking to us this morning. We appreciate it. Martin Shkreli joining us there.